Are you impatient? Do you want what you want when you want it, and when you want it is right now? Well, you're in luck because today's episode we were talking about the benefits of waiting. Wait a second. There's benefits to waiting? Holy
None.
freaking cow. And we're not just talking about losing your V card. This is the Existential Stoic podcast. I'm Randy. That's Danny. What's going on, Danny?
What's up, Randy?
Yeah.
Ugh,
Quite an intro,
I know, it was good. I am tired. I was
huh?
waiting. The I think probably most people think there's no benefits to waiting now.
hmm
I mean, we
Well, if you can have it faster, why would you want to wait?
well, it's hard. I know it is hard too because I think like we have been so conditioned to getting things now. Like, it's funny. I laugh all the time now because like all these companies have come into existence. I feel like in the last like I don't know 5 or 10 years that you can buy stuff now with like those payment plans now.
hmm
And there's I forget the names of them, but there's a ton. Anywhere you go
Yeah.
shopping, you'll see it. Like it's like 4 easy payments and
Oh, yeah,
blah.
you can have everything now. You can
Yeah.
scratch your itch now, and then you just for the rest of your life.
And I get it, right? Because like that's exactly it, right? When people are shopping, most of the time it's like you're scratching that itch, so they want you to buy it now. Because if you wait, you're probably gonna like talk yourself out of it because you don't need it. But it's
Yeah.
funny that like that kind of stuff though, I think really does screw up our ability to like wait for things. We get frustrated. Like and with packages, like if something doesn't come in the mail like when you expect it to, people get pissed because it's like, where is it?
Well,
What's
dude, it
going
used to
on?
take a couple of weeks to ship stuff. Now you order on Amazon, you get it later that day.
You remember
But even
ordering, this is dating myself, but
that's what I
remember
was
ordering
gonna
something in the
say.
back of a
Yeah.
magazine and it would be like, dude, like 6 months? Like,
Yeah, it would be like allow 4 to 6 weeks for
we have to
processing.
make
And
it,
yeah,
literally.
exactly. Yeah, everything. But there's something to be said for waiting. And this is actually from a little bit of personal experience that the topic for this came up. So a while back, I read this book called Essentialism, which is like the premise that you can do anything, but you just can't do everything, and only a few things matter. And
Oh, I
so
thought you were talking about the philosophical. Never mind, go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So ever since then, I have like my list of the things that are most important to me, and then I have like a queue list. So like a up next list. So like stuff
Ah,
that's on there is stuff that I want to do, but I just don't have enough time, resources, brain power, whatever it is to do it now. And so what's really interesting is probably like a month ago, I started doing something that was on my to-do list. Like it had been on my to-do list for like months, maybe even years at this point. And I'd always been looking at it, but I just never had the time, never had the energy, whatever it was. And so I started doing it about a month ago, and it's the most rewarding thing I have done in so long. And it's just crazy because I'm like, had I have, I'm thinking, I'm like, man, if I would have just done this like years ago when I wanted to, imagine how much better it would be. But then I'm thinking, maybe part of how good it is just because I had to wait for so long and I
no,
saw it there all the time and other stuff came and gone from that like waiting list, but this one stayed there and then now I made the time for it.
no, I think it does though. It does increase its value. Because, dude, like, I mean, I told you this. You remember when I got that one lens I really wanted, and I had wanted that lens for like a decade, literally.
Hmm
Like, since I first, like, before, well, yeah, way long ago. And, but it's expensive. They're not cheap. So, I
hmm
couldn't at the time, like, I could have probably gotten it, like, back then, I could have used credit or something, but then I would have been paying it off and it would have ended up spending way more. And, like, waiting, like, I was able to buy it outright. It was awesome. And, like, it's been the best. And like I think there is something to that. It's hard to do though, because you have to like, constantly remind yourself and like, wait and hold back. But at the same time, it's like I think also like when you wait too, you also have time to actually enjoy the things that you're
hmm
getting. Cause like, you're getting it at a time when like, okay, I can use it now. And you get to enjoy it too. Cause that's the other side. Like I know there's so much crap like we buy that like we don't even use because we don't even have time to use it. Like it's like an
hmm
idea we have. Like people want to start a hobby or something, so they'll go get stuff because it's fun to buy stuff, and then they don't ever start because they don't really have time in their schedule to do that thing. And it's
Yeah,
like,
it's easy to buy this stuff. It's hard to
oh
actually
yeah,
use it.
yeah, and then you have to have a bunch of junk. But I think it's really hard though. Like it is hard waiting at first, and I do the same thing as you do. I keep like I have so many like lists of things I want to do or whatever, and it's cool because on the one hand, I think by writing stuff down, I do find like it gets done eventually, and a lot of times before I even think it's gonna get done, it gets done. But I like that idea too, what you were mentioning of like of prioritizing like your most important things. Because I've been kind of doing that too, in like a sort of week by week method, I guess. But prioritizing like the most important things you want to do, and then everything else is like bonus. And but it can also you also realize that that stuff can wait and be pushed aside. It's okay, and it takes that stress off. Because I think when you don't do that, you're like running around like a chicken with its head cut off, right? Like you feel like you have so much to do, you can't get everything done, and then everything just gets worse and harder to
Hmm.
do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like there's only a few things that you can actually do and really make any measurable difference in. And so by having that list there, it's allowed me to kind of like almost do the things that I want to do. Like I know that I'm going to do it when I have the time
Yeah.
and resources available to do it, but it's just right now I'm full. I can't do anymore.
No, and I think you make a good point too about resources, because when you don't have the resources, you can't do it right either. And I think that's like the other thing we screw up so much is like that's why people start things that they want to do so much and quit. And I've done this in the past too, because like you really want to do something, so you start, but it's like totally not the right time. You have way too much other stuff you haven't prioritized right, and so you can't commit to it like you should. Because like we talk
Hmm.
about this all the time. Like anything like worth getting good at is going to take time. It takes a lot of effort, and like if you really are passionate about something, really want to do well at something, you're gonna have to put a lot of hours in, and you have to kind of have that time scheduled out for yourself. So I think waiting in that case too can be really beneficial to like the right moment. But what if there is no perfect moment? This is the other side that I think you hear people say a lot, like there's never a right time. And I do also think that's also true to some extent with stuff.
Hmm.
Like sometimes you just do have to pull the trigger. Like,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, there's certain things, there's never a right time, but yeah, I don't know. There was another thing that I was thinking of in terms of this with like what was it? Oh yeah, learning patience.
oh yeah,
So so like patience is the hardest thing because I mean, I've just trained, I guess we're all trained to just be impatient. Like we're rewarded for being impatient. And so in life all the time, I'm like, well, I have to walk faster than people and drive faster than people and, get to the shortest line at the grocery store and, be the first one in and the first one out and all this different stuff. And it's like all these signs of being impatient. And there was the book, the Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And he was talking about how it can actually be a practice and a good practice to intentionally, like when you go to the supermarket, get in the longest line possible. And like
and
when you're
not be an
driving
ass
down the
about it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I know, right? And when you're driving down the highway, drive in the slow lane. And it's like these things help build up patience because the only way that you get it is through training.
Well, you know what's funny too? I always found that funny with driving because like you'll rush to get somewhere, but like really, at most, like, what are you shaving off? Like
A
maybe a
minute,
couple
2 minutes.
minutes? Yeah, like most of our drives, like granted, like a long trip, like if you're going like a 10-hour trip, you might be able to shave off like 30 minutes or something if you're driving a little quick. But
But
even
still,
that,
for a day
yeah.
for a day trip, you're saving 30 minutes. What are you going to do in that 30 minutes that's
And
so important?
and it's funny, and it's like, but to do that, to like save that minute or that 30 minutes, you're also like amping up your adrenaline, your stress, your anxiety. It's
Endangering
all
people's lives.
yeah, it's all going through the roof. Like it's really funny when you step back and kind of think about this stuff. And I think I like that idea too of like going along the lines and stuff and just trying to force yourself to kind of realize that it doesn't matter, it'll get done. And I think,
Yeah,
but we're so conditioned on the dopamine hit and that immediacy of everything. And I do think like a lot of that has been technology, like because it changed so much of our society. I mean, we saw literally lived through it. Like you saw like, I remember that was like kind of the time too when stores started to stay open 24 hours, like not just like gas stations, but like everything. And like,
hmm,
everything was open 7 days a week and like everything had to be now and ready and available because,
yeah. Or
it
like
just
back in the
changed
day of
things.
dial-up modems, where like you turn it on and it would take 5 minutes to load or whatever, and those that crazy, yeah, exactly. And then it would have this like slow site that would kind of come down like a little bit at a time, and you'd be like, "Come on, come on." But nowadays, if the page doesn't load instantaneously, you're just clicking the back button or going somewhere
You
else
remember if like pages had an image, dude, it would take like 5 minutes
forever.
to get
Yeah.
like the title and then it'd be
Yeah.
like, oh God. But yeah, it was funny. I remember I'll never get one of my buddies is like one of the first kids I knew that got his family had a computer with like the internet. This is like, well, I don't know. I was in probably like kind of sixth grade or so. But went to his house and he's like, dude, check this out. It's awesome. You can chat with anybody. It was like a, one of those chat
Yeah.
group things that like, where it's
Yeah.
like basic text messaging with other people, random people. And he's like, check this out. So he's like, he says like something like, hello, what's up, whatever. And like 5 minutes or 10 minutes later, like a response goes back. I was like, oh my God. And he
Yeah.
was sitting there all day. So like he had to, like had only communicated with maybe like four people, a couple conversations, just
Yeah.
waiting. And
Fast forward 30 years. Now you can have an instantaneous conversation with a pedophile trying to.
yeah, right? Trying to bait you. Yeah, it
Yep.
is weird though, but I think we have lost that. And I wonder too, because it's funny, I was just thinking about this last night. It's kind of funny, you just remind me of it by bringing this topic up. But I was watching this show and it was like taking place in like I think it was like, sometime around like probably like the 1800s. And it was during a war and stuff, but like, they kept showing this one character, like he was like doing, going on a journey, but he kept sitting, like kept doing meditation and stuff. And I was like, I wonder if people did that more back then, because like they didn't have all these other distractions. Like there wasn't like, I mean, you couldn't even get books that easily. So like,
Dude, I remember rainy days when I was a kid was like the worst torture ever because
yeah,
there was just nothing to do. Like, especially if you, like, at my house, I had like Nintendo or whatever. But like,
yeah.
if I was going somewhere else and it was a rainy day, it was just torture because you're just sitting inside. Like, what is there to do? I've done everything already.
Yeah, and I always wondered if that like if we were like naturally more like more patient back then or more like just able to like be bored because I think that's what it is. We are
Mhm.
incapable of being bored anymore.
Well, also, I just finished this book called The Open Focus Brain, and it was kind of talking about that type of thing, how there are multiple types of focus. So, like right now, in this day and age, we're very good at this sharp focus where we can focus on stuff like, computer screens and problems and figuring out everything. But it
Mostly
causes a lot
screens.
of issues. Yeah, it causes a lot of issues because we can never really relax.
Yeah.
And so the whole book was talking about this open focus where like you're able to just take more things in and that was probably what people did back in the day because you just sit outside and you're just like, oh, let it all come in.
You can reflect on other stuff. You can like reflect on your past. You can reflect on your decisions. You have time to do that. And I noticed that now, like, because we've been talking about this a lot, but I've been working on my schedule because like I felt like I was like just it was too intense. And like, and I noticed when it gets that way too, like you can't relax. You're just stressed all the time because you never feel like you're getting enough done. You never feel like you're like and so it's like every day it feels like you're starting like behind almost. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And like
Yeah.
and I think that's like such an unhealthy way to live too, because you're just stressed constantly. And
Uh-huh.
you know, it doesn't make it you don't enjoy the things that you are doing. And you don't do them well either because you're not giving yourself time to do them. So it's like horrible. And I think it
Hmm.
does, but it does take I think in our society now, it takes conscious effort to actually do these things because the like kind of, I guess, like go to is just intense focus and like rushing.
Yeah. And it's like the concept that everything that we're doing makes such a big difference, but
I
then in
know,
the end,
right?
it doesn't. Yeah. Because we're
None of
rushing to
it,
get all this stuff done.
none
And
of
in
it
the end,
matters.
yeah, like it's crazy. Like all of the most important projects of our lives are probably just going to be pushed aside once we die, and somebody else will be like, man, not a big deal.
Dude, they won't even
Life
matter.
goes on. Yeah.
Other stuff will be made. Other stuff will be created that's going to outshine it for sure.
Hmm.
Like always going to happen. I mean, it's
Hmm.
rare that there's stuff that persists. I mean, even if you look at like ancient history, right? How many like books, how many works really survived? Probably like, the smallest percentage of what existed. Most of the
Hmm.
people that were probably up there with the people that we celebrate as greats, from back then, their
Hmm.
work's probably never been found, probably doesn't exist, and they're unknown. So it's like you think of it that
Yeah.
way, it's like, yeah, I mean, and also who
And it
cares
may
anyway?
and
We don't
it
know.
may not even be the best stuff. It
Yeah.
could have just been the stuff that survived or could have been the trend of the time. Like, you look at nowadays, sure, there's a lot of great stuff coming out, but like if you look at the trends, it's
Yeah.
not exactly always the best stuff. And what if that's all that carries on and not the actually
Yeah.
important things?
I mean, that's the interesting thing, right? And it's funny too because like you have no control over that stuff either, like legacy or anything. So it's like there's no sense worrying about it. But yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, we need more patience and we need more slowing down, I think.
Yeah, so there you have it. That's nice and simple. The benefits of waiting. It's an interesting practice because everything is so fast paced in the world nowadays and you get everything immediately that like waiting seems like such an inconvenience and imposition. How dare you make me wait for my meal? You
Like,
know?
but it's funny because it's funny how hard it is to do.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Cool. Well, that's all for this episode. If you enjoyed it, we got episodes coming out all the time on YouTube. We're also wherever you get your favorite podcast. This is the Existential Stoic Podcast. I'm Randy. That's Danny. I'll see you later, Danny.
later, Randy.